I only meant to help him study after the game, but falling asleep in his bed turned one awkward night into the moment that changed everything between us. The hallway was loud. Lockers slammed. Shoes squeaked across the shiny floor. Voices bounced off the walls as students rushed past each other between classes. But Lily Harper felt strangely quiet inside. Her thoughts were slower than everything around her. She stood at her locker, holding her books close to her chest. Yesterday still felt unreal. It's like something small that somehow changed everything. Jake Lawson asking her to prom. The memory kept replaying in her mind, soft and warm. She closed her locker slowly and took a deep breath. Then another. The metal door clicked shut. Lily, Maya's voice cut through the hallway noise. Lily turned as her best friend hurried toward her, eyes wide with excitement. Well? Maya asked. Lily tried to stay calm, but her smile gave her away. Yes. Maya gasped. What? No way. Yes way. Maya grabbed her shoulders and shook her gently. I knew it. What? A few nearby students glanced over. Lily laughed nervously and pushed Maya's hands away. Okay. Not so loud. But Maya was already grinning like she had just won something. Prom with Jake Lawson, Maya said dramatically. Lily felt her cheeks warm. Stop saying it like that. Like what? Like it's a big deal. Maya tilted her head. It is. Lily looked down at her sneakers. A small scuff marked the toe of one shoe. Maybe, she said softly. The bell rang then. Sharp sound that sent everyone moving again. Students flooded the hallway like a wave. Lily and Maya walked toward English class, squeezed between backpacks and conversations. Lily's mind drifted. Jake's nervous smile yesterday. The way the wind moved across the empty football field when he asked her. It's a quiet moment before she answered. Soft, slow, real. English class felt different now. Jake sat 2 rows behind her. Normally, he whispered jokes before class started. Today, he simply gave her a small smile when she glanced back. Not loud, not teasing, just warm, mister. Reynolds began the lesson, writing something about essays on the board, but Lily barely heard it. She could feel Jake looking at her sometimes, not in a weird way, just gentle, curious. When class ended, chairs scraped against the floor and students packed their bags quickly. Lily moved slower than usual. Hey, she turned. Shh. Jake stood there with his backpack slung over one shoulder. You survived English, Lily said. Barely, he replied. He smiled, then looked a little nervous. So, about prom? Lily raised an eyebrow. Yes. Jake shifted his weight. I realized something. What? I've never actually been to prom before. Lily blinked. Seriously? Yeah. He shrugged. Football games, practices, travel games. I always missed it. That surprised her. Jake Lawson seemed like someone who had experienced everything in high school. You're serious? She asked again. Unfortunately, he laughed softly. So I might need help? With what? Jake counted on his fingers. Suit, flowers, dancing. Lily laughed. You definitely need help with dancing. Jake placed a hand dramatically over his heart. That hurt, but true. They walked into the hallway together as students passed around them. A few people glanced at them. Some whispered quietly. High school rumors traveled faster than anything. People are staring, Jake muttered. They always stare at you, Lily said. Yeah, he replied. But now they're staring at you too. Lily looked down quickly. That's weird. Jake smiled softly. Not really. They stepped outside into the courtyard. Bright sunlight spilled across the concrete pads. Spring air moved gently through the trees. A few students sat on benches scrolling through their phones. Life felt slower outside. Jake leaned against the railing. Like so. So Lily said. A quiet pause. Comfortable. Want to study later? You mean actually study? Maybe. He shrugged. I mostly just like hanging out with you. The words were simple, but Lily felt them. Something warm moved through her chest. Okay, she said. That afternoon they met in the library again, their usual table near the back. A sunlight stretched across the wooden floor. A dust floated in the air like tiny sparks. Jake opened his notebook and stared at it dramatically. This sentence has commas again. Lily smiled. Commas are not your enemy. They absolutely are. They are grammar. Jake leaned back in his chair. You know what I realized? What? I don't hate English. Lily blinked. Really? Blinked? Really? Yeah, he tapped the notebook. It's just easier when you're here. For a moment, Lily didn't respond. Her heart felt strangely light. They studied for nearly an hour. Actually studied. Jake asked questions. Lily explained things patiently. Sometimes they laughed quietly. Then Jake suddenly closed his notebook. Break time. Already. My brain is melting. Lily rolled her eyes, but she smiled anyway. Jake pulled out his phone. Look at this. He showed her a video from football practice. One of his teammates slipped on wet grass and fell hard. Lily burst out laughing. Did he actually fall like that? 3 times, Jake said proudly. They both laughed. The sound echoed softly through the quiet library. After a moment, Lily noticed something. Jake was watching her instead of the phone. What? She asked. Jake hesitated. Can I tell you something? Sure, he leaned forward slightly. That night you fell asleep in my room. Lily groaned softly. Please don't remind me. It was kind of nice. She blinked. Nice? Yeah. His voice was quiet. He looked peaceful. Lily felt embarrassed again. It's not exactly the word I'd use. I mean it, he said. She looked down at the table. For once you weren't worrying about everything, Jake added. She opened her mouth to argue, but he was right. She did worry about everything. Grades, college, what people thought. Every small decision. Jake tapped the table lightly. You overthink things. That's true, but you don't have to with me. The words hung gently between them, soft, important. Thanks, Lily said. Jake shrugged. No problem. Later they walked out of the library together. Evening sunlight painted the campus orange and gold. The air felt warm and calm. Students crossed the courtyard laughing and talking about weekend plans. Jake stopped near the steps. Hey, Lily? Yeah, you know what's funny? What? If you hadn't fallen asleep that night. Yeah. We might still just be study partners. Lily smiled slowly. Maybe Jake kicked a small pebble across the sidewalk. Life's weird like that. Yeah. Another pause settled between them. Then Lily spoke quietly. I'm glad I fell asleep. Jake looked surprised. Really? Yeah, she smiled gently. Best accidental nap ever. Jake laughed softly. They started walking again as the sun dipped lower in the sky. The campus grew quieter with every step, though neither of them noticed how quietly everything between them had already begun to change. The evening air was warm. The sky glowed soft orange as the sun slipped behind the school building. Lily and Jake walked slowly across the quiet campus. The sidewalks were almost empty now. The day was ending, but neither of them seemed ready to leave. Jake shoved his hands into his hoodie pockets. He kicked a small pebble along the path. So, prom. Lily glanced at him. Prom. He laughed softly. Still feels weird saying that. Why? Because a week ago, I thought I'd probably just skip it again. Lily looked ahead at the parking lot. The wind moved gently through the trees. The leaves made a quiet rustling sound. And now, Jake shrugged. Now, I actually want to go. She smiled. Good. They reached the sidewalk that led toward the student parking lot. A few cars pulled away slowly. Music drifted faintly from an open window. Somewhere Jake stopped walking. Lily noticed and turned toward him. What? He looked thoughtful, like something was sitting on his mind. Can I tell you something kind of embarrassing? Lily crossed her arms playfully. This should be good. Jake laughed nervously. That night, you falling asleep in my room, Lily groaned immediately. Jake, no, wait, listen. She covered her face, briefly, but then lowered her hands. Go ahead. Jake looked down at the pavement for a moment. When you fell asleep, I almost woke you up. Almost. Yeah, why didn't you? Jake took a slow breath. Because you looked peaceful, and I didn't want to ruin that. Lily felt something warm move through her chest. The memory of that night returned. Quietly, the soft lamplight, the blanket he had pulled over her, the awkward moment when she woke up. You could have just nudged me, she said gently. I know, so why didn't you? Jake looked at her directly now. His voice was softer. Because I realized something. Lily waited. I liked having you there. The words hung in the evening air, soft but real. Lily felt her heart beat a little faster. She looked away toward the empty football field beyond the fence. The grass glowed deep green under the fading sunlight. "Jake," she said quietly. "Yeah." "You're making this sound very dramatic," he laughed. Maybe it was. They started walking again, slower now. The parking lot lights flickered on above them. The sky deepened into shades of purple and blue. "Hey," Jake said suddenly. "What? You've never told me something?" "What?" "Why you were so tired that night?" Lily shrugged lightly. "Long week. That's not the whole story." She hesitated for a second, then sighed. "Okay, maybe it wasn't." Jake looked curious, but didn't interrupt. "I had just gotten an email that afternoon," Lily said quietly. "From a college." Jake's eyes widened slightly. "Wait, what?" "Yeah, and?" "It's a writing program." Jake stopped walking again. "Lily, that's amazing." She gave a small, uncertain smile. Maybe. It's in Boston." The word hung there for a moment. The distance suddenly felt huge. Jake nodded slowly. "That's far. Very." A quiet pause settled between them. The sounds of distant traffic drifted through the evening air. Jake rubbed the back of his neck. "So if you get in, I'd move after graduation. And that's next year." "Yeah." They stood beside Jake's truck now. The parking lot was almost empty. The moment felt strangely heavy, but calm at the same time. Jake leaned against the truck door. "You didn't tell anyone?" "Just my mom." "Why not?" Lily looked down at her hands. "Because I didn't want things to feel different yet." Jake nodded slowly. He understood that feeling. "So what happens if you get accepted?" he asked. Lily took a breath. "Then I go." "Of course you do," Jake said quickly. "You have to." She looked surprised by how certain he sounded. Jake smiled gently. "You've been dreaming about writing forever, like actually forever." "Since 4th grade," Lily admitted. "See?" Another soft silence followed. The wind moved lightly across the parking lot. Jake suddenly laughed under his breath. "What?" Lily asked. "I was nervous about prom," he said. "Meanwhile, you're out here planning to move across the country." She smiled. "Life is weird." "Yeah, it is." He looked at her again. Then something thoughtful crossed his face. "Hey, Lily, yeah, if you go to Boston," she waited. "Promise me something?" "What?" "Promise you won't stop writing?" Lily's smile softened. "I won't." "Good." A moment passed. Then Jake reached for the truck door. He opened it but didn't get in yet. "You know what's funny?" he said. "What?" "If you hadn't fallen asleep that night, I never would have realized how much I liked you." Lily laughed quietly. "Best accidental nap ever." Jake grinned. Then Lily's phone buzzed in her pocket. The sound broke the calm moment. She pulled it out. New email notification glowed on the screen from the college in Boston. Her heart skipped. Jake noticed immediately. "What?" Lily stared at the screen for a long second. The evening air suddenly felt very still. "Well, state?" Jake asked softly. She opened the message slowly. Her eyes scanned the first line, then the second. Her breath caught. Jake stepped closer. "Lily." She looked up at him. Her expression was full of shock. "I got in," she whispered. Jake froze for half a second. Then his face lit up. "Lily, that's incredible." But Lily didn't move. Her mind was racing. The dream she had, chased for years, was suddenly real. Boston. A new life. A future she had imagined for so long. And standing right in front of her was Jake, the boy who had quietly become the most unexpected part of her life. Jake studied her face carefully. "Why do you look scared?" Lily swallowed. "Because everything just changed." Jake was quiet for a moment. Then he nodded slowly. "Maybe," he said gently, "or maybe everything just started." The words lingered between them under the glowing parking lot lights, and for the first time that evening, neither of them knew what the next step would be.